Hello everyone and welcome back to the English shooting live stream here in the Blue Fieldsports gun room. A little bit different to how we usually do it, although very similar to last week after all of the issues. Alex is currently busy, so I'm running everything myself and I'm not up to speed with how he has it all set up, so we've gone back to basics. But let me know if there's any problems, if we're too loud, too quiet. I don't think too quiet is usually an issue.
Yeah.
But yes, it's a usual deal. We're going to be talking about a few topics throughout the stream, a bit of news, some big news actually within the last week. But you're all probably well aware now from all of the various marketing from all of the brands and companies that tomorrow is Black Friday, and Magload prides itself in having an incredible Black Friday offer. So we will be turning this into a Magload special live stream, not just talking about the deals.
No, we're going to talk a little bit about Magload and a little bit of history, I think.
Yep.
We both made an extra special effort to wear our Magload hats today and to wear our Magload polos, as you can see.
There we go. Always ready. It's too cold. I couldn't find my Magload hat. Well, it wasn't at home. It's hung up in the.
It's hung up in the unit.
Paul, quick, go get my cap. Paul's so handy being around.
You don't pay him enough for this.
But yeah, I hope you're all doing well and enjoying the remainder of lockdown, if that is possible. Yes, I know the picture quality will be lower. You're just gonna have to deal with it. At least we don't have the robotic audio of last week. But yes, so yeah, lots to cover. I'm sure a lot of people are here because of the Magload deals, but we are gonna make you suffer through that a little bit longer.
Yep.
And get on with some other stuff.
Not for a while yet.
Yeah, not for a while. So to keep you engaged, keep you there.
So it's not just Black Friday deals we've got going on. We're actually releasing a bunch of new products as well. Some stuff that's been in the pipeline that should have been on the website sooner, such as the 1522 handguard tools. But shall I give them a little teaser? Should I give them a little teaser?
You see how flawlessly I did that. Yeah, let's get into
little teaser.
A little Christmas special. I've got that on completely.
Here we have a Magload Christmas bauble / bottle opener. It's really nice. Made in-house entirely. Well, of course, apart from the mil-spec black nickel finish, which is done just down the road from here, but we're laser engraving these today. So
it really is a bauble you could take to war.
It's a bauble you could take to war. Open all your war bottles. Why not? But yeah, it says Merry Christmas on the back. That is on the website right now, and if you guys want to know, I'll post a link to it.
If we're talking about the bauble, you've sort of got to talk what the main purpose of getting this done was for, right?
What's that? Magpack! Magpack! We're not talking about that yet, though.
Are we not?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, we're just talking about the bauble.
We're just talking about your balls, are we?
Yeah, we're not talking about the Magpack just yet.
Yeah, we'll leave the Magpack for later. Okay. That's for sure. A quick thank you to Sinner 2004 and of course Richard Weston. A big happy Thanksgiving for any American viewers and subscribers. This cap is not sitting right. I haven't worn it in for a while. Happy Thanksgiving for any American subscribers and viewers. Hope you're having a wonderful time with friends and family. Hope lockdown and COVID isn't disrupting that too much. But yeah, so any particular topics or discussions you want to get into? We will be, as we've been saying, talking about Magload this evening. Well, shall we just... Well, first of all, let's start with a light sort of big announcement, which is, of course, we're coming out of lockdown. I see one of the biggest questions is, of course, what can we do for, under all the different tiers, and can we get on shooting? Well, as it looks, the majority of the UK will be in tier 2, and we were looking at tier 2 today. Outdoor sports, absolutely fine. It does seem a little bit mad that you can, even under tier 2, you can go to an outdoor event with 2,000 people, I think it was. But
it's like 4,000 people depending on the venue size, isn't it?
I can't remember if it was which was larger or which was smaller. But yeah, so the majority of the country should be able to get out and shoot again. Outdoor sports are specifically written in. And certainly if you're going and doing any sort of individual shooting pursuits, not an issue whatsoever. And I'm sure for many of the competitions we're going to see, groups of 6. I know that's how they were run prior to this lockdown under the previous COVID sort of guidances and rules. So yeah, we should be able to get back to it, although the practical season has ended.
The practical season has ended, but that doesn't mean that there's not going to be matches and things. Certainly I know KFC are planning to get something in as soon as is humanly possible. They do have a session booked on the 5th, which is up at Bisley, I believe. I know Kiddle's in the chat, so we can give you more information on that. And we would hopefully try and do something else before Christmas as well.
So yeah, we keep an eye out. Again, I always recommend going and if you want to get started in the sport, if specifically you want to get started within practical shooting, then join KFC. They're moving very much within the IPSC realms of things, obviously well known for their 3-gun matches, but they're all about getting new people into the sport. And even during the likes of lockdown and COVID, they're still running matches and still taking on new members. So yeah, any questions or topics? I've seen a question from Richard. Is the screen there to stop Callum licking everything?
No, just to stop him from licking me.
Yeah, anything put in front I will lick, including Tom Ellaway's brand new 1522. That was of course a video that went out in the past week. If you want to see the new Magload carbon fibre handguard that we've been going on about for months, go and check that out. I've fitted that to Tom's gun.
Yep.
Conners immediately had to do various repairs to the gun after I was let loose with it. There is a video floating about somewhere of his trigger absolutely losing the will to live, spilling its guts and just jamming up.
Entirely your fault,
Yes.
I want to add.
Is it working?
Yeah, it's working. I wasn't able to get that one to work. we're on this one.
So you're allowed.
Yeah, Alex has just joined.
Yeah.
I ended up installing the trigger incorrectly, not going and test firing it, so it swiftly came back, and Tom had to beg Conners to fix it, which you quickly did. The healing bench lost.
Well, it wasn't too hard, basically. So what happens when you get a new trigger like that is you get one of these things called an instruction manual. And if you refer to the instruction manual, it's actually surprisingly easy to fit.
Why would you want to do that?
Like, if I recall correctly, I think you left it in the video where you've taken the instruction manual and thrown it over your shoulder.
Yes. Yeah.
And
That would be the instruction manual.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you didn't need that anyway. We might be going to HD in a minute.
Yeah, we're attempting to get the camera set up. Alex is off his meeting and he's in here frantically trying to get that all up and running. So
in OBS, switch cameras, so we'll recognise it now.
Really? I need to add a video capture device.
Yep. Add another source.
Yep. Bear with us, guy. No, it's still not coming up.
Do you need to install anything?
I probably do, but I just thought we'll get it for next week. Yeah, so hopefully for the next stream we'll have everything set up as good as it used to be. But yeah, luckily, Conners was able to read a pretty simple instruction manual and fit the trigger correctly.
Yes, it's actually incredibly simple.
Don't believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was led to believe it was a drop-in trigger, if I'm going to be completely honest.
It didn't say that anywhere.
Well, I thought it was, and it should.
And actually, it is drop-in, but even drop-in triggers need something doing to them. Like the trigger tech's got 2 bolts. You need to snug down the hour. Gold needs this little thing.
I'm a proper gunsmith, I'll have you know.
Gunsmith.
Professional. Had your visit yet? No, I guess you'll miss your. You're
looking for FAC updates.
FAC. I need to get the T-shirt made. No update with the FAC. No visits yet. I pretty much wrote off the previous month in terms of getting a visit because of the lockdown. So we'll have to see. Maybe before Christmas. It's probably going to be after Christmas now, but we're just fingers crossed, carry on doing what we're doing, and we'll see what happens. I've now been involved with shooting sports within the UK longer. Oh, you might destroy everything though, Connors. No, you're just going to go for it anyway. It's going to fall over at some point.
It's fine. It's got a mil-spec finish on it.
Yeah, so it will hit the deck and be fine, but everything else it hits on the way will be damaged beyond all repair. So yeah, I've now been in the within shooting sports longer without an FAC than I did with, which although that hasn't stopped me.
No. You're doing more shooting now than you were before.
Yeah, so can't complain and all that. It's probably why Hampshire gets so frustrated with me. They're like, but we tried, and it didn't work.
You've been a very naughty boy.
Maybe.
Well, actually, you haven't. But
does that mean I get coal this Christmas?
No, I think coal's too good for you.
I like a bit of coal. I like licking it.
And it's a little rare now, so it'll have to be charcoal. Maybe a burnt orange.
Burnt orange charcoal. Sounds like a paint scheme. Love the way you threw the instructions away, then immediately went back to get them. Yes, yeah. I even actually losing, looking at the instructions, I still managed to fit it wrong. But there we go. Don't ask me if you want someone to put your gun together that's going to work. Ask Connors. If you want about a 20-80% chance of it working, ask me.
20 or 80. Your maths is terrible.
20-80 ratio.
Your maths is terrible.
Maths.
20 something.
20 something.
Yeah.
20% chance of definitely not working. Colin, I had my interview for variation over the phone as they informed me at no home visits. Well, the thing with a variation is obviously they've come out to see you already. They've already checked you're safe, and they've deemed that everything's okay. So, as long as there have been no changes to your security or nothing's flagged up, there's no real reason for them to come out for a variation. I just think if they do have the time, they will, as a matter of course. And actually talking about safes and getting licenses and all that, there was a post that went out on the English Shooting Facebook page, which if you haven't already liked, go and like, because that's where a lot of the new news and updates comes out instantly. There was a very sort of disturbing set of photos where somebody, I think an opportunist, had broken into somebody's house, found the safe, and then had gone at it with a crowbar. And it does really stress that you should, obviously install your safes properly. But it's also why the FEOs make a big deal of it, because
that safe was still in place. Chunks of the wall were missing, but that safe was still exactly where it had been installed.
Yeah. So it did its job, and police have said in the past, or have been made aware of, various ethoses when it comes to safes, that they're not there to be an absolute cast iron stop. Like, given enough time and the right tools,
it's a deterrent.
Yes, but it's also to stop opportunists. So yeah, that's why the FEOs will come round and try and wrench your safe off the wall, just to make sure that everything is secure. We do have, obviously, another big bit of news, the Offensive Weapons Bill 2.0 that's been
Some people
announced.
are really upset at you calling it that.
I know. But before we get into that, why don't we talk about the main event this evening?
Do I get to say something now?
And Magload, yes.
Yeah?
Yes. Shall I hand? I will hand you the speaking bauble.
It's my bauble. Don't you touch my balls. Don't you lick my balls.
Yeah, but there's a COVID screen. It's all safe.
Yeah, but the ball crosses the screen. It's half COVID, half not.
That's why I can lick that half.
And I can lick that half.
And then they kiss. Anyway,
now kiss.
What the fuck was that?
Have you not seen I think it's like Mike Tyson and two pigeons?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's where the whole meme comes from.
Yeah.
It's Mike Tyson trying to say kiss.
Yeah.
Kiss. Anyway, so one of the things that Connors really wanted to do this evening was actually sort of take you back to the roots and the very start.
Well, do you guys want to know? Because I have got here every single loader Magload has ever made, even from before it was Magload, when it was just me making stuff for myself. Do you guys want to see like a brief history of all the loaders?
I want to see. Screw them. I want to see.
Yeah?
Do you guys want to see? There is like a 30-second delay, so we'll take that as a yes, maybe.
But they're still talking about Mike Tyson and pigeons. I also want to say, right, the some reason I've got captions on, and the automatically generated captions are on point. They are perfect.
it's some crazy algorithms going on there.
Yeah.
I have to be honest.
Or it missed Magload and it put Loader instead, but look at that.
It's when it replaces like Magload for.
Well,
it's
replaced Magload with Magload, but that's right.
Yes, they do. Yes, they
Yeah?
definitely want to see.
All right,
Everyone.
Should we start at the very beginning from about 2 weeks into me practical shooting?
Well, yeah. Well, first of all, how did you get into practical shooting?
How did I get into practical shooting?
Yeah.
So it was a member of Dorking District Rifle Club, which is a club which has the luxury of having its own 1,000-yard range.
Okay.
Normally only shoot at 600 yards because the clubhouse is at 650 yards. So you'd have to shoot over the clubhouse for the 1,000-yard, but they've got 4 of the old electronic targets from Bisley up there.
Okay.
And they did service rifle, or their own version of service rifle, which was
Well, like CSR.
CSR,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
shooting in and around a barricade, and I had my Lee Enfield, and I was having a lot of fun with that. I won the first year with the club gun, and then they told me you're not allowed to use the club gun anymore. So I had to go and buy my own Lee Enfield, which is where mine came from. And yeah, I got interested in shooting and moving, and sort of looking it up, and I found out about 3-gun and googled a lot of 3-gun, and then realised very quickly you can't do it in the UK, or so I thought at the time. So I got onto IPSC, found that out, found the UK PSA, and got stuck in. Googled some clubs. I found Maidstone was the closest to me in Brighton, so it was a 2-hour trip or a 1 hour 20-minute trip on the motorbike.
So you can fly, right? You know.
So I went to the Maidstone club. I had like a little taste a day, or a shot section 2, and saw if I liked it or not. Of course, I loved it. Came back for my second trip, and I noticed that no one's loading out of pockets like I was. Everyone had like a loader of some sort.
Yep.
So I went around making a mental note of what everyone had, and went home and printed some loaders to use on my next day. And this was the very first loader I made.
So that's like quite obviously inspired by.
That is a carbon copy of something. But bearing in mind, at this point when I've made this, I'm not running a business. I'm just trying to make something for myself.
For this sort of type that people might not know, it's the Californian strip loaders. That's what they're referred to.
I am an old grunger, but you don't have photos of that, so no.
What's your email?
Let's not go into that. But yeah, so if any of you haven't seen, or it's not set up for these cartridges because these are longer.
See that's crazy. This sort of shows you, because you've probably seen the ones where they're sort of complete, but I've never seen this type with adjustability.
No?
Ever. Like they're always like fixed widths, and they have more at the front, so they would accommodate different size shells without them falling out. But I've never seen adjustable like California strip loaders.
Well,
so even back at the start, you were just knocking it out of the park.
I was just making this for myself, and then I realised very quickly. So Paul Austin, the person who runs that club, came up to me and said, "It's very nice, but you do realise that's a very old style of loading."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Well, that's what I'd seen on YouTube." And he goes, "Come and watch this."
And that's the old thumb loading.
Thumb loading, yeah. Well, no, what I'd seen on YouTube was someone's grabbing 4 out of these and quad loading that.
Wow.
Well, that's where quad loading started.
Okay.
Was by grabbing 4.
Because whenever I've seen, again, I'm going to call them the Cali loaders, as that's what I've seen them referred to. But people would grab a load, like a chunk of them in the hand, bring them up, and they would keep the gun up, and they would just flick them underneath the gun. And it's as impressive as quad loading to be able to get that
it is
down.
Absolutely. If any of you ever have the pleasure of seeing Andy Duffy shooting shotgun, loading at thumb loading, it's absolutely incredible, blisteringly fast. But yeah, so the very first loader I made was what I thought a carbon copy of something else, but according to Callum, isn't. There's even you can't really see the backplate there, but it's where I started getting the idea of putting semicircles in backplates, so they mounted to my cheap Chinese tech locks. These were 90p off of AliExpress at the time. They were great. So from there, it was about a month until we were next shooting, because Maidstone shot every month in the summer, I think it was, because people were going to matches in between. So I had loads of time to test and do my next loader. So I spent quite a bit of time on it, and I came up with this. And
there's a significance to the colour of this.
There is significance to the colour of this. Yellow was the colour of filament I had loaded in my printer at the time, and I couldn't be bothered to change it. So there you go.
And that's been the official Magload colour ever since.
Ever since. And something like really interesting here is this little finger design. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. These little fingers.
Those there?
Yeah, I worked out that these provide the most retention. That shape provides the most retention and the most thumb space of anything out there. That is the most efficient way to do it. However, as you can see from many of them, it's not particularly conducive.
Not the strongest.
Not the strongest, which is where I then adapted. So this was like month 2 of shooting practical. Month 3 of shooting practical, I've
And this is where it starts to look more familiar.
Slightly more familiar. Now, quite a few people have these because this is where Magload starts.
Yeah.
So, so month 3 of doing practical shooting, I've got these. I've had some backplates laser cuts. So this is the first non-printed parts on here. These are all captive hex nuts in here. Terrible design, this backplate, but it worked. It worked for the time. It's very heavy and there's some weak points in it. And I had these, and I went and did my safety course with Michelle Lumley. And Michelle saw me loading out of these, and her and her husband had a good laugh because they looked a bit like a toy. Until
carry on.
Until she said, "Can I have a look at those?" She had a closer look at them. They were very interesting. Then when I got home, I had an email from her, and we ended up talking a lot about the loaders, and that's where she ended up getting sponsored. So Michelle Lumley was my first sponsored shooter. She had a set of these in black. She had 4, in fact. And this is the sort of more traditional quad loader that people grew to know Magload for. And these were the first loaders that Magload sold as well. There are a few iterations of it, but they all looked pretty much like that. Should we carry on?
Well, what I'm just currently doing is finding, because I know where it is. It's just it always takes a little while to get it through. I do have a photo of you shooting. Like with the original.
Okay, while he's getting that, I'll move on to the next loader.
Yeah.
Because not long after that, we needed to start producing more. I had to think of a name for the company, and I had to start selling them because I was making too many of them now, and we moved to the infamous double quad loader. Bone of contention because this is where I started making myself public. And I started getting lots of accusations of copying people, and I still don't really know where that comes from. But yeah, so this loader was almost indestructible. It's made out of CNC Delrin. The spring adjustments came later on in the loader's life. Originally it was just screw adjusted like the other one. But yeah, indestructible. You could drive over these. I've got a video somewhere of me driving. My god!
So here we go. Here comes the photo. So what was this your safety course?
No, that is Maidstone. That's up at Maidstone.
But there, you can see those original loaders there.
Yep.
You're still wearing the same.
Yep, same trousers.
And is that?
That's the Supernova.
Same Supernova. Yeah.
Same Supernova.
So there you go. That's where Magload all started.
Yeah, that was right after I had my shirt printed. So I asked Wes, I don't think he's in chat, but Wes Hay, to take the photo of me, and there it is.
There is another oldie, which I will just. I did see it. It's gonna come.
Yeah. Okay, so the double quad loader is something that a lot of people are going to be pretty familiar with. Oh my god, where did that come from?
So Connors has no idea.
Where did you get these from?
I hacked you.
Oh, they were all in the Magload folder when we transitioned over, weren't they? Oh my god.
So there's an old. It's not the best quality photo.
I was a lot slimmer back then.
when would that have been taken?
Rootum. So this is Rootum. So Maidstone's practical range wasn't strictly speaking in Maidstone. It was in Rootum, which is between the M25 and M26, like where it forks off. It's kind of in a weird place, but missed that place a lot. I've still got the shirt. Yes, I do.
You still wear the shirt in competition?
I still wear the shirt. Yeah, because I've only got 2 Magload shirts. I've got my slightly newer one and my old one, and my old one's actually in better nick than my new one. So don't get ripped off by t-shirt companies, boys and girls. So that saw Magload through a good portion of its life. We added loads of different upgrades to keep it current. So this is the latest version with the spring adjusters on there. We had like wing nuts at the back so you can quickly adjust them. And we also had this little lever that you could flick up the lever, move it, flick it back down again. But also, this is also the first thing you ever received from me.
And that's what I was going to say. So Conners has been pretty honest in the fact that when Magload was starting up and developing, he thought, well, I sort of need to get these out there. I've got to really send this to the biggest and most influential YouTuber there is in the UK.
Unfortunately, Neil Ragg was busy. SRS Power had gone offline. And I couldn't find anyone else who was in the UK on YouTube. So, as the last resort and the smallest YouTuber of them all,
you even asked VideoMic Britain, and they said quad loading, practical shooting. What's that?
But anyway, enough about that because I want to make a point. So we always harp on about our lifetime warranty. There are people still out there rocking these, and these tops, because they are FDM printed, which is a pretty terrible process for a loader. They break. They do break.
It was only a couple of weeks ago that someone with an FDM'd
one said, "Hey guys, can you help out? How much is it to buy some new tops?" It's like, you don't have to pay anything. It's a warranty. Here you go. We send it. It's free.
Yeah.
Enjoy. So lifetime warranty, even back to the older stuff, because we make everything. Anything that breaks, we can remake. I sort of get that inspiration from a bike company called Hope Technologies. Some of you might be familiar with it. But if you have a hub from them from like 15 years ago and you break a part, they can go and make you a new part. And I always wanted to sort of do that myself. I'm going to go on to this. So the problem a lot of people had with this was it was too expensive. So at the time, this whole kit, including the spring adjusters, was like 100 quid for 8 rounds, right?
Well, I remember when I reviewed it, I was using the Tacoms at the time. I'd been given a set of Ghosts, and then you'd sent me that. And I think I said in the review, it is the most expensive.
Yeah.
But actually, comparing it to the Ghosts, which I absolutely hated, it seemed quite cheap because whilst it was more expensive, it actually worked.
Yep.
And was much lighter retention than the Tacoms, which just grabbed onto everything.
But I've been on the circuit for a little while now. Yeah. Talked to a lot of people, and there was definitely room for a budget loader. Pardon me. The old chameleon belts have been discontinued for about a year by this point. No one can get hold of anything for. Oh, sorry about that.
I'm glad I got the screen.
No one can get hold of
it. It was those rustlers.
So, yeah, it was the Rustler Burgers.
Would you?
I started my quest for a budget loader, and I went through about 2 iterations before I came up with something which was ready to go. And this is the 3rd iteration. This is the Acolyte. And there are only a handful of these out in the wild. I sold about 6 of these belts before giving up on it, because they just took me too much time to build.
Although a lot of those parts look very familiar, because whilst I'm diving in to find parts for current products, I always find all the stuff for that.
We've still got boxes and boxes of this stuff. But this entire belt, so it was a belt which was adjustable with a quick clip there, a dump pouch, came with a nice big dump pouch.
Just in case you get caught short on the range.
Yep. Comes with 8 back plates to hold 16 rounds total, and that entire lot was 99 quid. And there are still quite a few people out there running these. I think that pretty much everyone who has one is still using it or has passed it on to someone that's still using it. But the idea about this was the belt would grow with you. So I came up with the name in conjunction with Ian Corrigan. He spent ages on the phone with him trying to come up with a name. And the Acolyte is someone who is like a helper. It's someone who helps you. So this is to help you and grow along with you. So you start off with 16 rounds capacity, but each of these back plates you can buy another stack and turn these single stacks into double stacks.
Quads.
So you've got quads, which means you can end up going from 16 rounds to 32 rounds on these back plates alone.
Yeah.
And then you can buy more back plates, and we've got the Molly. This is where the Molly adapters come in. That's what they're for.
Yeah.
You know, you see those floating around. The bag bit is a dump pouch. So at the time, I was a big fan of putting all my initial load and stuff in a dump pouch.
But you would normally, on a PSG match, you'd normally see open shooters using dump pouches for their magazines.
Lots of people use dump pouches. I mean, it's like, depends whether or not you feel like one gets in the way or not. But that entire lot was £99. And I remember one guy who asked about it. He asked, I was working quite close to where he worked, and when he met me, he thought, "Oh, I'm glad you're real. I thought you were a scammer." I'm like, trying to sell you quad loading belts.
Little did he know he was spot on the money. But this has been your quest, and ever since
my quest for the budget loader.
Yeah. You know, and the thing is, like, we're well aware, and Conners is certainly well aware that, like, the current lineup of loaders from Magload, they're not cheap, right?
I get carried away. Like, I start making something, and I just keep making it. Oh, I can fix this. I can make that better. I can make this better. And price comes into it as like the last factor. It's at this point, right? How much does it cost us? How much do we need to charge to make some money?
Can we still pay rent?
Yeah.
But you know, it results with skipping ahead a generation. But like with the Pro, you know, it is, in our opinion, the best loader on the market. And everyone that has tested, like people like Clive Gamblin, who have tested all the other loaders, agree that it is pound for pound the best loader out there.
Yeah.
It just unfortunately is at the top end, but it is a quest for yours to make it more accessible and cheaper.
Yeah. So we've come. This is essentially Gen 1 right here. And we move from here onto Gen 2. Now, what's really interesting, and actually I don't think you know this, Nexus, the original Nexus, is the Gen 4 Acolyte. Because at the time, I was on the quest for a budget loader still, and I was making these on my SLA printer.
Or I've seen the tops.
You've seen the parts.
Yeah.
And like I could make the entire lot of plastic parts on it for like a £5.
Wow.
Which made the entire loader, like this entire thing, like 30 quid.
Yeah.
Essentially, but they didn't work. They were far too brittle.
We were out one evening, and he had a bag full of bits, and he was like, "That's an SLA'd top." And SLA is.
This is it, because you were talking about making your own SLA'd loaders at the time.
Yeah, and he bought this part along. Now SLA is a form of printing that uses a resin and then uses a light to bring up the layers. It's incredibly detailed, but also incredibly brittle. So you'd given me one of these parts and you said, break it. And I was like, really? And he said, yeah, just snap it in half. And I was just able with my fingers to snap it in half. But then you had the realization of, I think that might be the last one left. Or it was like,
oh yeah, that's it.
You had a complete loader's worth and you just like got me to snap it off.
No, I think I broke it in front of you. You were like, no, don't, bang. I was like, see how brittle it is? Like, I don't have any more of those. I've sold the printer now.
So it wasn't the best process, which obviously all of the loaders today use SLS,
which is like stronger than injection molding a lot of times, especially when we can do a lot of the optimizations that we can with printing. But yeah, so this is essentially Gen 2. Obviously, when we went to SLS, the price had to go. Well, it was sort of on par with what these were costing at the time, which I didn't think was too bad. But yeah, these had a bunch of incremental changes over their lifetimes. A few of you might notice it, a few of you probably won't. But we always change and update stuff as much as we can. And then from here, from the Nexus, which is Gen 2, we move on to Acolyte 5.
Which gives name to
the V loader, because V is the Roman numeral for 5, and it is the 5th loader, or the 5th. Where's your camera? Camera's over there. It's the 5th attempt at a budget loader, and we did a lot better with this.
And arguably, it is the cheapest loader that Magload sells.
Yeah.
What,
38 quid.
Yeah.
But it's a fully spring adjustable loader, like all the other Nexus lineup,
and independent as well.
They are independent.
So if you wanted to
sprung.
put, a jewel of slug and a jewel of buck, you could with different sizes.
Yep.
Obviously, the best feature of the loader.
Yeah, the best feature of the loader is this one's currently set up for right hand. I don't know if you can see that. If I press these two buttons at the top, pull that chip out, flip it round, pop it back in, the loader is now set up for left hand. And the idea is this is a loader that you could switch around. It was intended for 3 gunners who would be able to. They're allowed by the rules to switch their belt around between stages and all that.
And that was also why it's only been offered in a quad, because 3 gunners tend to have lots of smaller loaders rather than one huge loader.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's been incredibly popular. A lot of beginner shooters as well.
Yep.
Again, that's why it was part of the Acolyte and the V,
Yep.
because again,
there were actually something really interesting about this, because this was an attempt at the Acolyte. All these shapes here are residual from when I was trying to make it a budget loader but use a SLS, because originally all these parts were supposed to pack in a space not much bigger than the top.
Oh yeah, you made that little cube, didn't you? Yeah,
it was ridiculously compact, and it would have all worked if the parts were strong enough, but being that small with so many little features, whilst they nested beautifully, they weren't strong enough, unfortunately, so we had to bulk it out a bit.
Also a product, and it's still this is available
current,
to buy.
yeah.
Well, so is the original loader. That's still available to buy. But then I think at the time this was launched, the smallest loader you could buy was the original
12.
Nexus 12. That was about £120, and these being about 38.
Yep.
You know, if someone just wanted to, you can fully practice quad loads with one of these.
Yeah.
You're going to be constantly, loading the gun and then unloading it and then loading that. But it would get you down the road for like just under 40 quid, rather than having to go and outlay.
But you can, if you had a new gun, you could buy one of these and just start practicing quad loading right away, and that's what I wanted. So whilst it's not the cheapest thing out there per round, and certainly isn't, it's the cheapest complete loader you can buy and go and start practicing quad loading with.
Yeah.
And a lot of people still prefer to run like a few of these over one loader.
Yeah.
And from there, because I make incremental improvements all the time, this never stopped being developed from when it was released over 3 years ago now. And all the incremental developments led up to a point where I could no longer call it the same loader. And I released a bunch of the incremental updates all as one new thing. Gave rise to the Nexus Pro, which is the latest, greatest current. It's the smallest, lightest, smoothest, strongest loader on the market.
Best loader in the world.
It's the best loader in the world, and it's not just saying that. Clive Gamlin did a side-by-side review of pretty much every high-end loader and mid-range loader available out there, doing all sorts of weird and wonderful crush strengths with weights and trigger gauges and all this kind of stuff. And basically, when he reviewed this, it lost on quite a few metrics. And I wasn't having any of that, so I made sure that this thing won on every single one of those metrics, so I could genuinely and honestly say to you, it is the best loader in the world by the numbers.
And if you go and watch that video, it's out on YouTube. He does a crush test, and the usual weights that he uses to do the crush test weren't enough to crush the but cartridges.
It still has one of the lightest release forces of everything out there, despite being some of the strongest retention. Now there are loaders that will retain a cartridge more, but they're almost impossible to get a cartridge out of.
And then do a smooth quad load. So that's like a
this is
start to
where we are
end.
now.
Yes. And maybe a little bit further. But we'll get onto that maybe a bit later.
Why not get onto it now?
Well, because there are a lot of people asking for the offensive weapons build 2.0.
Know what this is?
I already know what it is. They don't want to know what it is.
Do you not want to know what this is?
No. Paul knows what it is.
I think
it's.
No, not this one.
No.
Not this one. The next one.
You don't want to know what this is? Who wants to know what this is? No? Oh! Boing.
There we go. We'll leave that for now, because a lot of you have been asking. Obviously, the biggest bit of news in the this week has been the I forgot. Could you at the front of my desk? There's the stack of paper about this. It's buried. It's next to all the red boxes. Just usual preparedness. The bit of the pack of paper that I've been jotting notes on over the last 2 days. I've left, but luckily Paul's a quick runner. He's gone to get that. But anyway, so we've talked about this in previous live streams, and there was a video that I did it, and I coined the phrase the offensive weapons build 2.0, and it has been announced. So the Home Office have said they've called it the firearms safety consultation, which it's like, oh, just give me a break. Like, call it what it actually is. And to the bare bones of it, it is effectively everything that they missed off or weren't able to implement on the last offensive weapons bill. So lo and behold, they've gone after 50 calibers again. Now, they're not looking to ban 50 calibers. They're actually looking to increase or have a consultation and a talk about the storage requirements for 50 cals and whether they should be increased to a minimum of level 3, which is RFD. Thank you very much. There we go. See, look, I made notes. You know it's serious when I make notes. So yeah, it was launched on the 24th of November. We have until the 16th of February to get any responses in. And
Can I just say, there is a public response available.
Yeah.
So the questions are incredibly confusing, so read them twice.
And they're very leading, and they're very, like, you sort of can't win whichever way you answer them. Which, I'm sure that was done completely by accident.
It's probably deliberate.
But yeah, so it's this consultation. They are inviting everyone that has anything to do with shooting sports, whether you go once a month, whether you're a shop, whether you make guns or anything that would be affected by this. A lot of people have been saying online, and I completely agree with this, our organisations, they've been aware of this for a while. There's been a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes, as there already is. And I think it would be better to wait to see their response and basically go at it as one big community. I think there's a lot of emotion flying about. I think people are very angry actually about the sort of needless further restrictions that they're saying that they're going to impose. And it's very easy, and I've been there, I've been guilty of it, of in the heat of the moment just firing off a consultation a response to a consultation that doesn't necessarily help the image of shooting sports. So take some time, like if you haven't read this thing cover to cover at least a couple of times, don't put any response in until you have. Like really go in and read it. And that's why normally I'm pretty quick at responding to videos with stuff like this. I'm really trying to first see what like BASC and the NRA come out with, see if that's adequate.
This is fine. This is finally a consultation or a potential bill that is going to affect every organisation. And this is the first time that they're actually they have the opportunity to come together and do something together about it.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see if they do, but
yeah. So really, there's no excuse for any organisation to sort of say, well, it's none of our business. So it does affect pretty much everything. The main guy, and he is on Twitter. If you want to go and hit him up, that's sort of the main guy heading it off. It's Kit Malthouse. If you type his name on Twitter, on social media, you can go and find him. Again, be sensible, be polite, but put your case forward to him, and as well as the consultation. He is the Minister of State for Crime and Policing. So there are four main aspects to this consultation, four main things that they're looking into, and it's not necessarily saying we are going to do these things. Although the skeptic in me wants to say that they've sort of already made their mind up. It won't make a lot of difference what we actually go and put into the consultation. What they're proposing will end up going through, but we were able to change things like the 50 cal ban on the original one. So we've talked about high muzzle energy rifles. I believe they're defining high muzzle energy rifles at above 1,300 foot-pounds, I think it is. No, 13,000 foot-pounds, not 1,300. Yeah. That's which basically, from our research, is only 50 cals. Yeah. So like a 600 Nitro Express was like
the only thing that could even possibly be put there.
Yeah.
So the reloading bit is actually aimed at the antique and obsolete firearm stuff. It's come about because of that, I reckon.
Joules, it's 13,600 joules.
Right.
Just for reference, a 600 Nitro Express is 10,847 joules. So 338 Le Pour, that is 338. Yeah, 338 Le Pour Magnum, 7,000 joules. So it really is only 50 cals. But yeah, so the other aspects of with it, well, on high muzzle energy rifles, they're not necessarily looking to ban them. They're looking for further security arrangements, but they're basically saying that they're proposing that you should have a small amount of ammo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I deem 1,000 rounds as a small amount of ammo. So
well, you go through 1,000 rounds of 2.2 and a range in a day.
yeah, and I'm not saying you're going to go through 1,000 round necessarily of 50.
50,
cal.
no.
Yeah. But yeah, what is a small amount? And also, from what we can understand, is they're actually suggesting that the security measures should be above that of an RFD, which brings into question about, well, what do RFDs then have to do if they're storing multiple of them and all that? But then one of the other points is ammunition. So obviously there's been a lot of stuff about ammunition, certainly with the obsolete caliber firearms. At the moment, as it's written in here, it is the propellant and the primer that is restricted within our UK gun laws. Hello, Nala.
Someone keeps asking, where's the cat?
Here she is.
Here's the cat.
Give her a little stroke. Well, that's not COVID safe. She's going to spread the COVID. So propellant and primer, so powder and primer basically is already restricted. And the case, the brass encase and the bullet head isn't necessarily, although some gun shops will still require you, it will be their own personal policy, to show some sort of certification. But they're saying that, should this be strengthened? Now, if they start licensing cases and brass, that's just going to be an impossibility, because all you're going to have to do is on a quiet morning is walk down to Stickle Down or Sentry at Bisley, or wait until the police or the military have done some training down there, and you will have enough brass left on the ground to last you a lifetime. And it just isn't going to be feasible to license something like a spent case, because every range is then going to, even like 2.2, can you imagine that? Like a 2.2 range, a mini rifle range, having to go and pick up every single 2.2 brass. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And then what about shotgun ammunition? Because
the thing is, when it comes to reloading, banning or licensing component parts, I don't know. There isn't a reputable RFD out there who will sell you primers without a ticket, even though you don't.
No, it's saying that it is currently restricted.
Right.
So what are you required to ask at FAC for?
Primers and powder.
Primers and powder.
We don't have to record it.
And on the powder, that one, yeah. On the powder, I thought anyone could buy powder.
Yeah, they've got it actually wrong in that consultation, saying that you need an explosives license because you don't.
There's a lot of stuff
kilos.
that's wrong in that.
Yeah, I know.
Because, for instance, it says you can have a 223 as under the mini rifle exemption in there.
That's not necessarily wrong.
Where do we find
No, stop. That can't be said publicly. It's never been defined.
Right.
I
Okay.
tried to define it and didn't find support.
Right.
We won't bring those people into it. It's never been. They've defined it for me, so we might have some 223 mini rifles fairly soon. Which is what they've done there. They've taken something that didn't exist and made it exist.
So another point, what we're talking about there is another point on this offensive weapons bill 2.0 is miniature rifle ranges. Now we knew this was coming after the just the absolutely atrocious videos coming from full metal jacket ranges. This is sort of the only area that I don't think we have any defence. I don't think it would be reasonable.
Well, it'd probably be, I'd say even in support of getting rid of the 11.4 exemption.
In the video that I made after it.
Getting rid of 11.4.
No, not.
Because it's the biggest entry into shooting.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a tricky one, because things like Cub Scouts, Scouts and that, and smaller ranges use the miniature rifle exemption to be able to function. Now, all they're saying is basically you're going to need an FAC to continue doing that. At the moment, you don't. And whilst there is further restrictions, and whilst for many, many years we haven't had an issue, and even when the likes of the full metal jacket ranges were making those videos and 360, shooting videos, no one got hurt, so there hasn't been a direct sort of impact from these. But it's what, I think there is a sort of a sufficient media around it where somebody could now get hold of it, go, actually, I want to go and do something really horrendous with a gun. I'm going to use the mini rifle exemption to do that, and we would have no leg to stand on in terms of arguing against it.
There's a defence against that, is that they have to be able to acquire the gun from somewhere. So if some idiot walks in here and says, "Oh, bro, mini rifle range," like, no, go away, you're an idiot. So that's the thing.
And that's worked very well for a number of years. Where these guys got their guns from and the thousands of rounds that they had.
No, the RFD that sold them to him got prosecuted, lost his RFD.
Yep.
But was that for? I thought that was for something else.
Yes, so he was clearly dodgy and shouldn't have had an idea in the first place.
Absolutely, but again, he, in terms of the miniature rifle exemption, he did nothing wrong, but still ethically did something wrong, but not legally. And the thing is, you know, RFDs, FAC holders, they are of the highest moral standard, and it's usually a given that you can trust them to make the right call. Again, our firearms laws are really grey in some areas, really grey, and it comes down to personal interpretation, and you need to trust that somebody is going to read, you know.
You've got to trust that someone's going to interpret it the same way you did.
Not necessarily interpret it the same way you did, but interpret it in a way that isn't going to lead to harm. And obviously this RFD, for whatever reason, saw that you could make a quick buck, sold a load of guns to people that quite obviously shouldn't have been in control of them and didn't know, the muzzle from the butt.
You say obviously, we don't know what they went in there and said to the guy. You don't know how they held themselves, you know.
Yeah.
It was set up as a limited company. It had public liability insurance, the whole lot.
You know,
the research I did into it, it would be very hard to
see if it was genuine or not.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can hear that, but what Alex was saying is that it probably would have been very hard to tell whether or not they were legit at the time.
And the first Instagram video would have
yeah. But actually, in all fairness, under the 11.4 exemption, they were legit.
They were, and again, the Full Metal Jacket Rangers, they weren't actually prosecuted for anything they were doing in terms of running the range. What they ended up doing is going and threatening somebody whilst they had a rifle in the back of the car, and it was actually something completely other than involving a gun, completely different to running that range. They technically could have carried on doing that if they weren't going and acting like bellends elsewhere. But the point we were talking about earlier is actually something that they have defined within this consultation, which is something that we've debated for a while, which is the actual exemption says miniature rifles not exceeding .23 caliber, and it doesn't say rimfire. It doesn't exclude centerfire, it purely says the caliber. So technically, the way that the law is written, you could go and get a 223 straight pull or 223 bolt action rifle, and without a license, go and purchase it and run a miniature rifle range. Obviously, we can probably see why that's not necessarily a good thing as well, but it's always been understood that it was never meant to be 223, it was meant to be 22 rimfire and 22 caliber. And it's always been like whoever goes and tests that is going to be very brave. But what they've actually said in this consultation.
How brave are you feeling?
I'm brave enough to do it now. They've put it in writing.
Well, yeah,
they put it in writing.
They put it in writing, saying whilst it was generally understood to mean 22 rimfire, the legislation says .23. Therefore, and in their own writing,
243.
No, because that's only .23. It's .23.
Oh, what else is under that?
Loads.
But it says in
section here as well. That's like 4,000 feet per second out the
which can therefore include more powerful weapons. Again, they're not weapons; they're firearms. But yeah, it's again. I understand. There's certainly American viewers and subscribers.
They can license all the weapons they want. There's no weapons in this room.
No, apart from these guns. But yeah. So I'm sort of. I'm not on the fence on this. I agree that bringing in an FAC to sort of cover it, yeah, for the operators of the range, which will still allow people without FACs to go and shoot there. It's one that I do feel conflicted about, because certainly for American viewers and subscribers, the whole notion of the Second Amendment and the right to bear arms and all this, we don't, whilst there are some legislations that suggest we do, as it stands, it just doesn't exist in that way in the UK. We don't necessarily have a right to keep and bear arms, and I've been a huge supporter of for years. The reason we have such exceedingly low gun crime is because of the legislation that we have in place, the checks and balances, the firearm certificates, this, that, and the other. And whilst this is an exemption, it's not a loophole. It is an exemption that could lead to somebody without any checks obtaining a gun and doing something horrendous. Yes, they could go and rent a lorry. Yes, they could go and rent a car. Yes, they could go and get 1,000 litres of petrol and do all sorts of stuff. But that doesn't reflect negative on the shooting community. And I think as a community, we need to look at potential pitfalls that would be very hard to argue against. Now, the last and probably biggest section of the consultation is on air guns. Air weapons they've put here. Again, I've never owned an air weapon in my life. They've just an air gun. Basically, in response to the death of a 13-year-old boy, they're saying that basically they would like the removal. There's currently an exemption that allows under 18s on private land to be able to go. I think you have to be 14. 14 to 18s on private land can go unsupervised to go and shoot their air guns. They want that to be removed. Now, again, I don't think that what they're trying to prevent here will be prevented by that. The same idiots that allow a child to go out without the correct instruction, without the correct discipline, and sort of level of safety with an air gun, are still going to allow their children to go out with an air gun unsupervised. And I think, unfortunately, this was a tragic accident. It wasn't somebody, threatening the guy. It wasn't somebody trying to shoot him. It was two friends out and about on their own with a gun. They obviously didn't know how to safely handle it, or certainly the other kid didn't, and ended up shooting his friend and killing him. It's a tragic accident.
Wait, was it not the grandfather?
It said two kids in the articles. Might have been the grandfather. Well, no, it was two.
The grandfather that shot his grandson.
No, I think it was two kids, and that's why they're focusing on under 18s. It's a tragic accident. If one of these boys had fallen from a tree, we wouldn't be going out there and cutting down every single tree. Life has an inherent risk, and actually, for the very small number of deaths or even serious injuries that air guns produce, I don't think it's necessarily measured. What I would like is maybe take it another way to say that parents should have to demonstrate that they have given sufficient training and education to their children beforehand. And actually, this was one of the points that Bask made, which I agree entirely about. And there's actually some leaflets on the counter here in Blue Fieldsports where Bask have put together this very nice little guide that it's like an idiot's guide to air rifle shooting. And I think that would have more of an effect. That would have more of a difference, rather than just bringing in legislation that the people that are already, that it's mainly focused on, are going to ignore. So yeah, that's about it. That's about the consultation.
So there's no need for you to make the video on that now, is there?
No, I just cut this up and put it up, But there we go. It's a simple little flyer. Just the basics, and that's all you really need. You know really
what? If Bass gave a pile of those to every gun shop and said, "Give that to everyone who buys an air gun."
Yep.
They do. They're free from Bass. If you're a Bass trade member, they're free.
Well, more shops should get on it and request them then.
But then it's not about new air guns, because I've bought one new air gun in my life. I have 5, all of which have been inherited, passed down. I do have to say the funniest thing, and I'm still, there might be a bit of a Callum, you idiot, as there usually is.
It probably is. If you had to preface that, there probably is.
But I was looking through, so with all of these, I'll put the links out, or the links available on the English Shooting Facebook page. If you want to go and look at it yourself. So there's the consultation, but there's also impact assessments. So they did this and they severely underestimated the financial implication to banning Mars and lever releases, which is probably why it's taken so long for them to, there's still no number on the compensation yet. But on the impact assessment for air weapons, what they're saying is, we would like a minimum level of security required for the air guns themselves as well. And what they've said is that they estimate there to be 4 million air gun owners within the UK. They've also estimated or assumed that a lock is £15 for an air gun. Now, if you go...
So 4 million people, £15 per lock.
Well, this is £15 per lock. And this is, again, for me, assuming that each owner is only going to buy one lock. Now, if you go into the impact assessment, it estimates 6.6 million in terms of what owners will have to go out and spend to get these locks and bring up to the new standards.
So according to NABIS, is it?
I don't know if it's necessarily NABIS, but it's whoever has done the impact assessment for it.
4 million times 15 equals
6.6 million.
6.6 million.
Yep, there we go.
Quick maths.
That is a level of maths that I've never approached before. There's definitely some complex numbers in there somewhere because there's no way I can get to that number. Of course, if you times 4 million by 15, it's 60 million. So they're actually out of, they're out by a factor of 10.
And that's assuming that each person only has one air gun.
Yes, and I think it was something.
I don't know about you guys, but I got a box of air pistols. I don't know how many are in there.
You need to go on a boating trip.
I'm not losing them. I love them. I love all my pistols. They've all got memory. Like I don't know. I've got like 5 air rifles, maybe a dozen or so air pistols, and I need £15 for each of those. It really doesn't start to add up. Like, let's say on average is like 2.5 air guns per person, right? So they're going to have to spend 30, let's call it 40 quid per person. 40 times 4 million is a lot more money.
40 times 40 million, it's 160 million.
Yeah, 160 million.
Well, they estimate that I think it was something like 7 million air guns in total. So really you need a lock per gun. Obviously, some you can go.
If there's 4 million air gun owners, I can guarantee you there's a lot more than 7 million guns.
But this is it, and again, it comes back to, you know, if there's 4 million owners, that's like 5% of the UK population. This is why licensing in Scotland hasn't worked, because they don't actually know who the owners are. Second of all, they don't actually know how many guns are actually, you know, are out there, and see that they're not going to know. Well, because they don't know that, if they bring in licensing, how are they ever going to know what the uptake has been? And as far from the statistics in terms of Scotland are concerned, it's a fraction. The number of licenses now for air guns are a fraction of what they predicted.
A point that I raised that Callum actually hadn't thought of when he was making all his notes and all this is. How many Mars and Lever release owners are there out there who still don't know the legislation has changed?
Yep.
Right? There are people out there who have guns that are on ticket that don't know the legislation has changed because it hasn't been communicated to them. Mm-hmm. How on earth are they going to avoid turning half those people into criminals overnight without them even knowing?
4 million people. How can you guarantee 4 million people are going to be
they couldn't do it with 2,000 people when they had their names and addresses.
Yes. You know, so it's, again, I think it's absolutely ridiculous. But some good news on it. They have actually, within the consultation, discredited licensing for air guns. The Home Office has sort of come out and said they don't think it's feasible. They don't think it's it's going to be a measured response, I think, as they put it in there. So it doesn't look like we're going to get licensing within England and Wales, thankfully. So that's some highlight. Of course, nothing looks to be banned. It's just slight tweaks. So again, it's very easy to get upset and angry about it. Further restrictions and all this. Yes, a lot of them I don't think make a lot of sense, but we're not actually losing anything. But you talk about people that are going to be made criminals overnight. What about ammunition collectors? You know, if they license bullet heads and cases, there might be people with a box, you know, of ammunition up in the loft.
There's a better one.
Yeah.
If you license cases, and you own some land and you allow someone to go shooting on it, and they shoot and drop their case on your land, illegal instantly.
So
how do you even legislate against that?
Yeah. So what Alex has just said, if someone's on your land and they go shooting and they leave a case, they've broken the law. They've left a licensable controlled pilot.
No, the landowners.
The landowner.
The landowner's then doing something illegal because he's in possession on his land.
Yeah.
Without even knowing.
Without knowing.
So they go and like pick one up and go, well, what do we have here then?
Yeah, have a look around the farm, see how many cases you can find. Don't bring anyone in my range.
But this is it. It's like any range at all. Mm-hmm. There is going to be cases buried in the mud. There's going to be like licensing brass is just going to be absolutely ridiculous. Plus, I'm thinking of doing a video in a way that YouTube won't instantly bin it. But there are very easy ways to make viable ammunition out of blanks. Obviously, we're not going to talk about how you do it, and we're not certainly in the future video not going to show how you do it, but it can be done. So what are they going to do about blanks? And actually, with a blank, you have the powder and you have the primer.
Let's not go into that because yeah, we don't.
Yeah, because if the Home Office is watching, they're making notes. Oh, we missed that one.
Yeah. I mean, for a Magload special live stream, there's not been all that much Magload, has there?
Well, yeah, okay, so there we go. Well, it's a big point. There will be a full video coming out on it soon, but that is basically the lowdown on the Offensive Weapons Build 2.0. But
I'm only responding to what they're saying.
So yeah, well, you can't win. When you were talking, they were telling me to shut you up.
One person said it, and everyone else
multiple.
And everyone else
there
told
were
him to shut off.
dozens.
They realised their mistake.
They were like, oh god, he won't shut up now. Let's get that to Connor. So let's get back.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a very special day tomorrow. Well, it's not really tomorrow, is it? If we're going to be completely honest.
No, because it's already here right now on the table. It's the Mag Pack.
It's the Mag. Well, it's not just the Mag Pack.
Mag Pack.
I'm sure if you've come from the Magload post, you're probably wanting to know about Black Friday.
Mag Pack.
And the Mag Pack. We will get straight onto the Mag Pack. The Black Friday deal for Magload is already live. It actually has been live for a number of hours now.
It's been about an hour. It's been about an hour and a half.
But basically, we wanted to test that it was working before we pushed it anywhere.
So, Callum's going to flash up on screen some of the ads. Yes. So last year we did a deal: buy a Nexus 28 and get a Nexus 12 free. People lost their minds at that. It was utterly crazy. We couldn't possibly do that again, so we did something a little different, which will be flashing up on your screen momentarily.
I'm working on it.
He's working it. It's not a new belt, I'm afraid. To be fair, I'm not entirely sure we need to do anything more with that shotgun belt. There is a 2-part belt in the works. That's not coming out anytime this side of Christmas, I don't think. Is that a Magload UGG boot? It is one, but I'm going to talk more about the backpack in just a second.
Yes, it has to be said in a very particular way. No, that's...
Yep.
No, wrong one.
Up.
It should just be
that
called
one.
free.
Oh, down.
I'm finding it. Sorry, guys, we're trying to...
There it is.
Where?
There, on the right hand side.
There we go.
That's it.
So this is the official main Magload Black Friday deal.
One of the 2 main Black Friday deals.
And it's too big to go on the screen, so I'll just resize that quickly. All very
Come on.
There we go.
There you go.
That is the official Magload Black Friday deal.
We couldn't do a free 12 when you buy a 28 because we did that last year, so we had to outdo ourselves a little bit. And you can take your choice of free loaders of a 8, a 12 or a 14 when you buy a 28 or a 32. So if you wanted a 32 and an 8, you can buy that. If you wanted a 28 and a 12, which is a pretty typical setup, you can buy that. If you wanted a 32 and a 14, you can buy that. That's a lot of rounds on your belt. You've got to think of the weight as well. But yeah, so that is one of the 2 deals that we are doing. Let me know what you think of that. The second one is coming on screen momentarily. So
one of the things that a lot of people got frustrated with last year was the fact that if you wanted a 20 or a 24, you couldn't...
Yeah, because quite a lot of people want to run a smaller loader. So we helped them out a little bit with that as well, with the
50% deal.
50% off an 8, a 12 or a 14 when you buy a Pro 20 or a Pro 24. I'm hoping there's something for every shotgun shooter somewhere in that deal. That's every loader we do. Every Nexus Pro is on a deal in one way or another.
So whatever size you want, whatever configuration, and again, we always recommend we have a lot of people phone up and ask for advice. We're always happy to give that.
28 and a 12.
Yeah, messages and all that.
But a 20. But saying that, if a 28 and a 12 is too rich, a 24 and an 8 will see you quite a long way. You know.
Well, you say the magic number is 40 rounds.
The magic number is
40
rounds on the belt, definitely.
But yeah, that is the deal there. That is live on the site right now. If you go on there, there is a Black Friday bundle. You can save on some of the deals. It's something like 200 quid. I think on all of them you save like at least 100 quid. So
yeah,
it's worth doing if you've been wanting to get a full setup for practical shotgun. Then you're not going to find a loader as good as the Pro for that price.
Yeah.
Anywhere. There we go. That's the sales. But anyway, Mag Pack.
Right. Lots of you will be wondering what this is. It is indeed a tactical stocking, which is something that everyone's seen before. It comes with a swanky Magload patch, which is beautiful, or should I say, bootiful.
And also, if you were here earlier on the stream, you would have seen the Magload.
The Magload bauble, whilst you can buy that separately, it comes with the mag pack, as does a bunch of other stuff.
There we go. So,
I don't know if there's there's more in here.
There's more.
There's more.
But wait, there's more. So,
what have we got?
A long life vinyl sticker.
So this is to go on your mag tube or your barrel or your bag, whatever you like.
Everyone likes stickers, so you get that part as part of it.
Yep.
You get some Magload in the convenient pen, so you can get into all the nooks and crannies, and certainly under the bell.
So M Gabriel shipping to US is about $17.99.
Yeah.
Doesn't deviate too much.
No, it's about 15 quid.
Was it 15?
Yeah, 15 quid I think it is. And yes, before anyone asks, we do ship to the US.
Yep.
We ship internationally, ship to the world.
Black Friday deals are global.
Yeah.
Anyone can take advantage of those.
But also in the mag pack, for some reason, our number one selling product is
breach flags.
Breach flags. So we thought we couldn't do a pack like this without including
every single breach flag.
There we go. It's the collection.
What's a breach flag without their respective breach flag holders? We breached the COVID barrier at this point. So we've got all the breach flag holders. We've got.
But wait, there's more.
The Shot Saver keyring and the limited edition. I don't think we're going to get any more of these made once they're gone. The limited edition Nexus Pro foil sticker. We can say who makes that.
Made by Sticky Bolt.
Made by Sticky Bolt. So very high quality, very nice sticker. Sticky Bolt themselves did all the artwork for that as well. We love it. It looks great.
And actually, while we're talking about this, I can easily just go to. Oh, there we go.
I'm
going to put a link in the comments section to the mag pack. If you can tell me what other channel that comes from. Unfortunately not Daniel, but it is still the amazing price of $49.99.
So it's about 80 quid's worth of stuff for about 50 quid. It's actually quite a bit more than 80 quid's worth of stuff, because we undervalued this because of how much you can get similar things on eBay for.
Yeah.
So this is probably worth about £10 more than what we costed it up at.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so considering this to be cheaper than it actually is, it's 80 quid's worth of stuff to you lovely people.
Yeah.
For 50 quid. If so, go ahead, and if no one knows what to get you for Christmas, then to get you a mag pack.
Mag pack. Yeah. Bill Moore got it in one.
Yep.
Donut operator.
Yep.
All IPSC. Breakfast. Mag pack. But yeah, so that's the mag pack, a Christmas stocking from Magload.
And don't forget, you get our people. Can we call this a mil-spec bauble?
Yes,
it actually is mil-spec.
Mil-spec.
It's CR4 steel, black nickel.
We should have got the rope done in Kevlar. That's the one.
Okay, so apart from the ribbon, it's literally like if they were to spec a Christmas bauble bottle opener, it would be mil-spec.
Yeah. Bottle opener, you know.
When we say mil-spec, I mean specifically NATO specification. I can get those certified as well. They'll provide a certificate to say that they're mil-spec.
We should supply one with everyone. But yeah,
no one's even asked about this, so I don't think we'd have bothered talking about it.
No, screw them. No one's interested. But yeah, so it's been a busy few weeks in the office getting prepared for all of this. I mean, the tactical stockings only arrived a few days ago, so we're going mad trying to get them. I was
lasering these like maybe an hour before the stream.
Lots to choose from. Of course, the Black Friday deal. If you're looking for a loader, you won't see them cheaper. And
no, you absolutely won't.
No, even the dealers, other suppliers and dealers of Magload won't be able to go to that. Yeah. It's only from magload.co.uk.
Yep.
So we've sort of covered all of the main Magload Magload bits. Is there anything
there's
else?
A couple of questions. So do you set up the larger of the two hand loaders for strong hand grab? You set up the larger one for whichever one's going to be your dominant hand. So if you're loading strong hand, then it'll be your strong hand. But people also load weak hand, so they might set the larger one up on the weak hand side. So yeah.
So it's Theo, no licenses yet. I will give an update as soon as anything comes in. You've got Jay's best replacement charging handle for a 1522. Now,
there's only really a couple out there.
Yes, so
I've been working on one for a while. It's not ready yet because I can't sell it for any less than about 200 quid. So that's not going to get released, not until I can.
So I actually had a message from Vegard, who's the Norwegian champion, rifle champion, and mini rifle champion. Now, what he's going for, because he asked if I could get one.
It's the RØDE one, isn't it?
Yes. No. It is the next level armament, ambidextrous 1522. So, if Vegard's going for that, it's a pretty good indicator.
Vegard knows his stuff. But how much is that? 80 quid.
It was £70 from Black Rifle. So if you want a charging handle, obviously the ones that are currently in development at Magload aren't available. If you want one now, Black Rifle can usually sort out stuff like that. And I don't know if Alex has any charging handles.
Anything Black Rifle we can supply.
Okay.
Support Black Rifle, go straight to them.
Okay. So Alex said, go to Black Rifle. They are actually out of stock of that at the moment, but if you get in contact with them, I'm sure they can put one aside when they come in. Any other questions that you might have, guys? I did see someone asking about, I think it was Richard, can you get the breech flags in other colours?
No. No is the official answer.
No, it depends.
If you email in, ask us very nicely and don't mind waiting a very long time. Especially if you want a 221.
Yeah.
If you don't mind waiting a really long time, then we can potentially do you a coloured one the next time we do a batch. But so considering we've just had a batch of 221s, you might be waiting a while for one of those.
There are a few. Just trying to see if there were any on the guns here. There are a few different coloured ones in the wild, mainly the
it's mainly for sponsored shooters.
Yeah, the Blue Fieldsports blue, and
Tom Ellaway's got a red one. Ben Ducker's got an orange one.
Yeah, so we will do them, but obviously it is meant to be a safety thing, and the one sort of colour that our RØDE will look out for is yellow.
It's yellow. Yeah. But it doesn't really matter because they're all say brightly coloured, something brightly coloured that occupies the chamber. So there you go. Doesn't really matter what colour you have, as long as it's not black.
Someone's asked, Sinner 2004, what's in your hands?
What's this? Well, actually, I've been teasing you about it, but I'm not going to tell you anything about it. I'll show it to you. So there is a loader.
Well, no, just show him like.
Yes, and then when you grab your cartridge, and it goes look, and it's very small again. But that's literally all I'm going to tell you about that. Callum's going to do a video on this. This is not available to the public, and Callum will tell you more about that. In the video that he does on
it. Have you ever seen a loader do that before? No, you haven't, but you've seen it here first. So yeah, what's going on? Tom Ellaway, what's the 25,000 giveaway? My sanity, mainly. Maybe I should give away my FACs. It probably won't take me that long to lose them. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Any reviews coming? Yes, we have the.
Well, you're going to be looking at that, aren't you?
We are going to be reviewing that or playing with.
Telling you about it.
Yeah, we've got the K22. So it's one of the sort of original LBPs. Very popular. I remember when I first got into practical, it was either a GSG 1911 or a K22. It's taken me a very long time to actually, track one down and spend a bit of time with it, but that review will be coming out soon. It has been filmed. The main bit of it has been filmed. There's a few other little bits to film on that. We've got a review of the Elcan Spectre DR coming out, which took Conners and I both by surprise.
Yes, it did.
In the best way possible. Not like that. Dirty.
So just a couple of questions here. We do know where you can get 20 round PMags because you found a website that's just restocked.
Yeah, so that's Northwest Custom Parts.
Yeah.
So Wayne up there, I've known Wayne for a number of years. He seemed to be the only person in the country that had PMags. We needed a couple for development, got some down, but you know, he was the only person we could find them from. Wayne is actually has a good history of, like, I remember when tech locks first became really hard to get hold of, and I just so happened to be up there filming with him, and I was like, oh, I really need some tech locks, and he was like, I've got hundreds. I was like, oh yeah, but I don't want the cheap Chinese ones. He's like, no, Blade Tech. And he was like a $5 cheaper than anyone else. So, you know, Northwest Custom Parts is another one that I would highly recommend for anything AR, certainly. He seems to have a great selection. And, of course, I know Kiddle is in the building. Calibre Innovations.
They sell the Hoppner and Schumann one, which is another excellent. I am of the opinion, and I will get lambasted for this, but I am of the opinion that the Hoppner and Schumann tech locks, as it were, are better than the Blade Tech. Why? Because they're metric.
Yeah, which makes a big difference. Well, certainly to when you're designing things in metric.
Yep.
Metric.
But of course, if you want the best system, it is and can only ever be. It can only ever be a Magload, a click system, like the Click Solo, for instance. So the Blade Tech's really good. It's like I've got a really wide platform to mount lots of things to. It's adjustable for lots of different belt sizes. But it's not shooting dedicated, like it's originally made for knife holsters and that sort of thing. Whereas Click is designed for IPSC 2-piece shooting belts, specifically made for it.
Yes, of course, in terms of reviews, there will be Dan's 22 WMR. That will be going through the ringer as soon as the ejector.
The ejector. The ejector has arrived.
Yep. So Conners will be fitting that. Obviously, we've got a busy few days with Black Friday, but once that has subsided, Conners will be fitting that. I'll be getting down the range with that. I've not really done. I went to go and film a video with a 22 WMR. Aborted it because there were some issues with it. That's now all been fixed, and we've talked about that before on the live stream. But it'll be the first video of a 22 WMR semi-auto that I've done, and Dan's like full custom build. You can't really get more custom.
It's actually quite nice for one of Dan's guns.
We can have some fun with it. I'm sure we can make it a little less nice. Yes, the UH1 Gen 2, which Dan has very kindly lent, will be reviewed at some point. I will be doing a full review as well of the Gen 3 Vortex Razor HD. It's just about time and film fitting that in with weather and other commitments as well. But yeah, lots to come. I've also got a Typhoon F12 to review.
Not just any Typhoon F12.
Sorry?
Not just any Typhoon F12.
But the owner doesn't want me to say whose it is.
Oh, he doesn't?
No, he doesn't.
Oh, okay.
No, he doesn't. He wants it to be sort of impartial and all that.
So for Blackstone 45 is a medium Velcro belt enough for a 28 and a 12? Yes, even the small belt fits a 28 and a 12, despite it being absolutely tiny. So all of them are meant to take at least 40 rounds. The medium belt is more than enough to put all your loaders on.
A few people actually asking about the folding loader. Kiddle saying for flight packing, so when you're going abroad.
We won't tell you what. I'll leave this for Callum's video, so I don't give away everything he's going to tell you about it. Manku Man, is it worth getting a titanium firing pin for a 1522?
Oh no, shall I just leave you?
Do we have enough time to talk about titanium? Right, so I'll try and make it as short as I can. Titanium firing pins gain popularity in the target shooting market, right? Because a titanium firing pin has much shorter lock time. That's the time from when you pull the trigger to the actual round going off, which is great when you're target shooting. But the downside with titanium firing pins is they don't carry as much inertia as a steel firing pin, right? And an inertia is what gives you a more reliable strike. So, if you're target shooting, should you get a titanium firing pin? Probably. It's going to reduce your lock time. If you're practical shooting, where you need every round to go off, otherwise it causes you a malfunction, should you get a titanium firing pin?
Unless you're using a Chris Vector and then you're screwed anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you use. No, I don't think you should get a titanium firing pin. I'll probably end up making them because enough people will ask for them, but I think it's a very bad idea to have a titanium firing pin in practical shooting. Certainly the Magload ones, they are nearing completion. They are going to be made out of a high-grade tool steel, something that's actually quite a bit denser than a normal sort of alloyed mild steel or low-medium carbon steel. Something to carry that energy through and into the cartridge. Also, I'm not going to say too much about this. There are some titanium firing pins on the market which are actually dangerous. I would definitely do a bit of research and some digging around before you do go ahead and buy an aftermarket titanium firing pin. It's not all of them, it's just one of them. A lot of them out there are perfectly functional and perfectly safe. So don't worry about that.
A few people are asking about trips. M. Gabriel, yes, we were very much planning to be out in the States last year. We were first booked in, I think it was March, April time. Obviously COVID hit, that got delayed to October. Obviously still couldn't do it in October. David is organising trips for March, April time and October time 2021. We will be going on the first one that goes ahead. We are both absolutely itching and chomping at the bit to get out to the US for many different reasons. When we do go, we had so much planned on the last one, not just sort of business wise, but in terms of content and videos and stuff like that. So we will be 100% as soon as we can get out there, we will. And David's saying that they're doing trips to Prague, Kentucky, Utah, and Prague twice. Yeah. Prague
okay,
twice.
So before we were really interrupted by Callum. So is it worth putting a heavier hammer or hammer spring in to cope with light strikes? No, unless there's something wrong with your hammer spring. The hammer spring is more than sufficient. You don't tend to get light strikes due to hammer strength on a rimfire because you're not trying to put a dent in what could potentially be like a military spec primer on a centerfire cartridge. Titanium firing pins will not fix light strikes, absolutely not. They can make it worse. A lot of the light strikes on the 1522 come from using aftermarket triggers. A lot of the triggers are made for centerfire rifles, and the firing pin on a rimfire rifle is actually slightly higher up in the action than a centerfire, so the hammer doesn't actually make full contact with the firing pin, and therefore you don't get a good solid strike on it.
I'm gonna have to interrupt you on that one because we are approaching the end of this evening, but
Black Friday sale ends on Monday. And I just want to say before you guys will go, if you haven't already, please hit the thumbs up button. It does make a difference on the channel analytics, helping this place grow and thrive. And also, if you're not subscribed, while you're watching this and not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for the donations as well for supporting the channel. But yes, the big news of tonight, the Magload Black Friday deals. Yeah, you wouldn't have thought it.
are available.
The deals are live. They'll be going through until end of play on Monday.
Magload.co.uk. Go and get your Magpack on there as well.
People asking questions about what side loader you should get. Your big loader should be the hand you load with the most. That's kind of it. What's our recommendation? 28 and a 12. That's why we did it last year. Yeah. But we've given you more choice out there if you want it, so go for it.
But there we go. Again, a big thanks to Conners as always, and Paul and Alex for joining and help running the stream. Any questions that you have in the meantime, you can get in contact with both of us through Magload, English Shooting, Facebook, whatever. You can get hold of us if you really need. But there we go. Thanks everyone for tuning in, joining in and being a part of it. It will be, I think, a couple of weeks now until the next live stream, but there will be plenty of prior warning and announcement about it. So, as always, guys, we hope to see you soon.
Bye.